Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Checkride Chat. Again, my name is Wally,
I'm Jason.
and today we're going to talk about standard radio phraseology. And I'm going to start with a scenario. Jason, tell me if this is a legitimate scenario. Okay, you're flying a flight tonight to deep South America, whether it be Brazil, Santiago, or Buenos Aires. You're going down to South America. It's probably 4,500 miles, 5,000 miles, something like that. It's about a 10-hour flight. You're leaving at about 10 o'clock tonight, so you're flying on the back side of the clock. You probably, on a flight like that, you're going to have at least one extra pilot, so there are going to be three of you. Um, and you're going to be flying over some pretty treacherous terrain down in South America. You've got a forecast for some very unfavorable weather to be down there. And at about maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on your body time, you're talking to a controller whose native language is Portuguese. He or she has a limited command of the English language. They speak with a very heavy accent. So, is that a legitimate scenario?
That is every flight,
So you've done that before.
many times.
I have too, many, many times. I mean, probably not in the hundreds, but well, maybe.
Many, many,
But
many,
yeah.
many, many times.
Now you're in that situation, and you have a major systems malfunction, whether it be maybe an engine failure. Again, you're worried about terrain down there. Maybe it's a pressurization failure. Either way, you've got to get lower. You've got to get down, and you're dealing with all those things. Could that happen?
Yep.
Okay, so hold on to that. We're going to come back to that. We're going to finish.
Is this a
up.
check ride? Is this an oral question?
It
I
is,
feel
it
like I'm
is,
getting
it
quizzed.
is.
All right.
We're just taking off. We're going to come back and we're going to land this episode by resolving that situation. So, Jason, let's talk about non-standard phrases and terminology when we're out there. And
Pet peeves. Can we talk about pet peeves?
pet peeves. Let's see. That would be maybe a 3-hour show. No.
That would, yes.
We're gonna
Lots
try,
of pet peeves.
Yeah, we've got a list of some things that we're going to talk about, and you wanna start, or you want me to start?
I'll start. Let's pet peeve. And it's not overly common, but when it happens, I just cringe, and you want to get on the radio and just say, just pick one, dude.
Yeah.
Just pick one. Big pet peeve of mine is, instead of just Skyhawk 123, it's Skyhawk November Cessna, or Cessna November Skyhawk. It's one or the other. Don't combine. It's not Cessna November. It's not Skyhawk November. You're in America. It's that is an assumed you are a November aircraft.
Right.
I get it. Yes, I understand international aircraft come into the play, but we're not talking about that right now. Pick one. So there's nothing wrong with November. There's nothing wrong with Cessna or Piper or Beech. That's all okay. There's nothing wrong with Skyhawk or Cherokee or Archer or Duchess or Seminole. But don't combine them.
Right.
The key to all of this, and I think it's going to come out, standard phraseology, a big thing on this also is less is more.
Exactly.
Get off the radio.
Exactly.
Say what you need and get off. Don't have conversations. Say what you need. Make it, what is it, the KISS method? Do you know what the KISS method is?
Keep it simple, stupid.
There you go. Keep it simple, stupid. Tell them where you are, who you are, what you're doing, and get off.
Right.
So I don't need 3 words to define you're in a 172.
Right.
The color 172, red and white and tan. Just Skyhawk.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just pick one.
And if you look in the AIM under aircraft call signs, it says you should, and the operative word is should. The AIM is stuff that you should do. The FARs are stuff that you have to do. Okay, but I think we all want to comply with I look at the AIM as almost regulatory. I mean, I try to fly that way, but it says you should state the manufacturer's name or aircraft type when talking on the radio. And if you go into a controlled airport and you say November 123 Alpha Bravo, 10 miles out for landing or whatever, probably the first thing they're going to ask you is
Say type aircraft.
Say type aircraft. So
So-
just head that off. Skyhawk. You tell them Skyhawk. They already know your performance capabilities.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
That it's just, I get it. The student private pilots, the range of knowledge of certain aircraft are potentially limited.
Right.
But it goes outside of just towered airports.
Yes.
You're defining basically, your performance capabilities, how fast you are.
Yeah.
What can somebody expect? So if you're in a pattern in a 152, right, and here comes a Mirage or here comes a TBM,
Right.
maybe extend for them, because if you cut them off on final, they're going to eat your lunch and you're going to cause a go around. Where if you just extended for a minute, they got on the ground, they're going to be on and off before you even turn base type thing. It's kind of know the performance subject of it.
Yeah, if the controller, if he's got a Bonanza that's 11 miles out and then you call in a Skyhawk 10 miles out, he's going to do the math and he's going to say, okay, that Bonanza
Goes first.
is still going to beat the Skyhawk in. So, just say your aircraft type and your call sign. That's, to me, that's the gold standard, to say the type airplane.
Easy pet peeve, real quick. Okay, phonetic alphabet. The letter G. The letter G. All right, here's the quiz. What is the phonetic word for the letter G? Say it to yourself. Okay, most of you were probably correct. Some of you were incorrect. The incorrect answer, it is not Gulf, like the Gulf of Mexico. It is golf, Golf, like the game. I have heard, I don't know, one of the tail numbers is Golf Mike. And for some reason, I always think it's maybe an accent thing.
Yeah.
But these are instructors coming through saying golf, Gulf, Golf Mike. And I'm like, I don't know how you got this far without knowing that the phonetic alphabet for G was Gulf. It's golf. You're going golfing. You're going to the range today. So those are two huge ones of mine.
Okay, here's one of mine. You're going into a non-towered airport, and you call up and you say, Cessna 123 Alpha Bravo, 10 miles east, inbound for touch and go. Any traffic, please advise. What do you think about that?
I guess you could just listen.
Yeah.
Right. I go back to the less is more.
And I think the mentality that it sends is, okay, if you don't hear anybody, that you're thinking, oh, there's no traffic. Okay. That's non-standard phraseology. That's nowhere in the books, but that is something that has crept into our vocabulary. And
we're going to get to another point. Stuff that Continental had it for a while, the phrase deviation of normalcy.
Right.
It's not standard,
right.
But the more and more you do something, it kind of becomes the standard, but it's still not standard.
Right.
I think we might talk about another one of that, but it sounds good, but if there's nobody talking, clearly there's no traffic. Yeah. I asked the other day going into Cleveland, it was kind of on and off, and I was looking at the traffic map and I couldn't overly figure it out, so I asked anybody in the pattern, can somebody just shout out kind of how many there are, because we were just trying to gauge on what we needed to do.
Right.
So I've asked how many are in the pattern before, but I've even become like almost a norm to that. Please advise, just, hey, I'm here. But now then pilots are smartasses too. So
they are.
CTAF probably is a multitude of airports.
Yes.
So you might get a couple people telling you something that they're just messing with you.
Yeah, and just because people aren't talking doesn't mean they're not in the pattern.
Oh,
Because a lot of these
hold
places,
on. You mean you don't have to have a radio everywhere?
No, you don't need to.
What? What? No, what?
There used to be an old guy that flew out of Cleveland, and
There's a dude out of Huntsville. He's infamous.
well, this guy's name was Bill, and he was like in his 90s. He had a Cessna 152. He'd come out about every 3 months and do some touch and goes, and he would make one radio call. He would just tell, I'm taking off runway 16, and sometimes you'd fly into this airport, and somebody would who was in the pattern would say, be advised, Bill is in the pattern. And that was just to tell you that there's an airplane that's in the pattern.
That ain't talking.
And you ain't going to get it. And I guarantee he didn't have ADSB out in that airplane. So,
so again, so this transfers down to another one. I have eyes on traffic.
Eyes on the traffic.
Eyes on traffic. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, that's somebody who's about to been watching too many episodes of Cops.
Yeah, like no, just how about traffic in sight?
Yes.
Right, when somebody queries, oh, you have traffic 2:00.
Yeah.
Traffic in sight, traffic not in sight.
Right.
Leave it alone.
Yeah.
And then that translates to, oh, I have them on the fish finder.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that one makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
So another one, I hear it all the time. I have them on TCAS.
Right.
High percentage of aircraft, I hate to tell you guys, you might have a traffic system, right, which shows you the traffic, but unless you're in a high dollar or unless you paid for it, TCAS is extremely expensive.
Yes.
ADSB traffic in on your 530 or your G1000, it might even tell you traffic.
Right.
But TCAS is traffic collision avoidance system. TCAS talks to each other and gives you collision awareness. They will tell you climb, descend, etc.
Right.
Most airplanes don't have that.
Right.
So I have them on TCAS. That's morphed into I have them on my traffic.
Yes.
Right. Traffic is not synonymous with TCAS.
Right.
So little itty bitty things, but words. If anybody has taken a Checkride with me, one of my words matter.
Yeah.
Words matter. So say the correct stuff.
Yeah. Do uncontrolled airports or non-towered airports? I'm trying to.
Uncontrolled, non-towered. That's a big one.
Yeah, we're trying to. The FAA term is non-towered. Airports.
Non-towered.
And we lie, and I'm gonna.
I grew up on uncontrolled fields.
Yeah, I'm gonna be guilty of that, but I'm trying to morph into non-towered airports. Do non-towered airports have active runways?
Absolutely not.
No.
There is no active. There's preferred.
Yeah.
There's recommended patterns, etc. But no.
Back in my day, we used to call it the favored runway, the runway that's into the wind.
Runway in use.
Yeah. So, I hear a lot, Cessna 123 Alpha Bravo clear of the active. And there is an advisory circular, and I'll put the reference up there. It is AC 90-66 Bravo, I think is the latest. And it is, I think the title of it is Operation at Non-Towered Airports. And this is very much in there. It says, do not say clear of the active, say clear of runway 16. Now, a lot of these smaller non-towered airports, there's really only one way to clear the runway, so it's really not an issue in practice, but you could have a left or right exit off a runway. Mm-hmm. So we want to be very clear. We're clear of runway 16 at taxiway Charlie or whatever.
Bottom line, there is no active at a non-towered airport.
Right.
Just you've spent the entire traffic pattern, downwind 16, base 16, final 16, clear of the active.
Right.
How the hell did that just change?
Right. And a lot of times you hear people calling in, they're 10 miles out, and they'll say, Podunk traffic, Cessna 123 Alpha Bravo, 10 miles west, what's your active runway? And it's
what's runway in use.
Runway in use, absolutely. There is no active. You can use whatever runway you want. Now, do we want to be good neighbors and get into the flow of things? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are times where, you'll go to an airport and we're landing on the runway that is not favoring the wind. And maybe we've had a wind shift. And, at some point, it is appropriate to basically, we use the phrase, turn the airport around. If we're landing runway 16 and all of a sudden the winds are 300 at 10 knots, maybe it's time to turn the airport around and start landing on 3-4. So just communicate with the other folks in the pattern and say, hey guys, how about we start landing 3-4?
I don't know. This might get me in trouble, but it's a non-towered airport.
Yeah.
Go do what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's recommended everything, but there's nothing to say you can't land on 3-4 where the wind's 300 at 10.
Right.
It's all you.
Right.
It's there's rules, there's recommended rules that might get me in trouble a little bit, but there's rules, but there's no rules.
Right.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news on that one.
Yeah.
So you can do kind of what you want.
Right. Yeah. Now,
That might be stupid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's nothing to say you can't. So, but again, being neighborly, don't do that.
Right.
But if you're the only one,
Yeah.
maybe you want to practice some tailwinds. I mean, I would
Well,
advise that
absolutely.
too. I would highly advise doing that.
That's a great point, because I've had many applicants on Checkrides, where we're simulating an emergency landing, whether it be for a medical emergency or maybe a systems malfunction. We need to get the airplane on the ground, and they'll go at great lengths to fly the long way to land into the wind. And during the debrief, I'll say, did you consider landing downwind? And they might say, oh no, there's a 3-knot tailwind. We can't do that in our Cessna 172 on a 5,000-foot long runway. And I'll say, well, let's look it up. Let's look at the performance and see how much runway length that adds. So now instead of 620 feet, we need 650 feet to land.
Yeah, it's not.
So it's not that big a deal. So I think it is something to you CFIs to go out there if you have the opportunity and do some tailwind.
Yeah, when it's dead, take advantage of it.
Have you ever landed a big jet in a tailwind?
Every day at Houston.
Almost every day.
Almost every day. It's
Yeah.
10 knots every day.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, 9.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not going to tell you it's 10, but if it's not over 10, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. How about the use of the word Roger? Roger means okay. All right, so if we're just having normal conversation and I said to you, Jason, I'm wearing a blue shirt, and you wanted to respond, I mean, probably what would be your response?
Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't say yes, okay? I'm not asking you a question. I'm telling you something, and you're just acknowledging that you got it. So when ATC is just telling you something, or it goes more around the other way. If they're asking you a question, Cessna 123 Alpha Bravo, traffic 12 o'clock, 2 miles, do you have them in sight? And the person will respond.
I have them on the fish finder.
Well, yeah. But they'll respond, Roger. That would be like saying, Jason, can you come over to my house and help me move today? I know the answer would be no, right?
Well, not if there's pizza and beer. I'll be there.
Yeah, okay.
that's my toll. That's my penance.
There you go. But you wouldn't just say okay, because I'm asking you a question.
It's a yes, no.
So it's a yes, no. So if air traffic control is asking you a question, answer them with, and we don't say yes, no. What do we say?
Affirmative.
Or
Copy. Wilco.
Wilco. What does Wilco mean?
Will comply.
Comply. Roger. Land. Plan to exit a taxiway Delta. Wilco. But affirmative is yes.
I can't stand when people say a firm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
just say affirmative.
A firm sounds like you're going to work.
I know.
You're a lawyer. You're going to work. Where are you going to work? I'm going to work for a firm.
But
no is negative. Affirmative, negative, Roger. Roger is okay. Affirmative is yes. Negative is no. So use those terms appropriately.
Again, I think it's just a lot of stuff has morphed.
Yes.
And we'll get back to that standard phraseology. This is not to, I would say America is awesome. There's zero question. However, we are, as American aviators, in comparison to the rest of the world, are very lazy.
We are.
We use lots of slang,
We are.
lots of non-standard phraseology, and we can get away with it in America because everybody understands what we mean and what we're saying.
Yeah.
You go do that anywhere else in the world,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean what it means here, and
Right.
nobody knows
Right.
what you're talking about.
Right. I use the example. I used to do a lot of check rides for a flight school who at the time had a lot of Korean students. And so I would do check rides for these Korean applicants, and it was very formal. They would bow to me, and I would bow back, and then they bow again. I mean, sometimes it's kind of awkward, but I joke that if I walked into a room and I said, "Sup, Jason?" S-U-P, Jason. I think you would take that to mean me saying hello. Okay. Now, if I went into one of these Korean guys and went in and said, "Sup, Mr. Lee," or whatever your name is,
Bruce.
yeah, there you go. "Sup, Bruce?" I think he would look at me like I was crazy. "Sup? What does S-U-P mean?"
Yeah, they don't know.
So, and sometimes our controllers are so good that sometimes they baby us a little bit too much. You could
They let us get away with it. Is what they do.
They do. And sometimes they're not perfect either, but they do let us get away with it.
All ATC controllers are perfect.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Moving on.
How about last call when leaving a traffic pattern? Cessna 123 Alpha Bravo departing to the east. Last call.
Who cares?
Yeah.
That is my gut simple response. Like, okay, thank you for wasting 5 seconds of my life.
Yeah, I think that is one that is actually addressed in the advisory circular where it says, don't say that. Don't say that.
There's no need.
Right.
You
right.
can say, I would say departing, left crosswind or departing crosswind to the east, to the west, whatever it might be. I would say that.
Yeah.
And that's my see you later. I'm out of the pattern.
Yeah. What I hear a lot of time, we have a lot of thieves. We have a lot of pilots who are thieves, and because they say it on the radio, they tell me, Cessna 123 Alpha Bravo.
I know what you're about to say.
123 Alpha Bravo is taking runway 16.
Where are you taking it, man?
And there have been times where, yes, I've been a little bit of a smart ass in the pattern. I'll key the mic and I'll say, "Please don't take the runway. We need to use it." And a lot of times,
I bet that goes right over their heads.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Taking the runway. I've been flying for 44 years. In fact, December 7th, 1981 was the date that I soloed. So,
oh wow, you know that?
yeah, 9:17 a.m.
Wow.
Runway 4, Monroe, Louisiana, Tomahawk 2549 Alpha.
Traumahawks.
In fact, on my 50-year anniversary, I'm going to fly up to Monroe, and I'm going to.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm going to work with ATC, and I'm going to get them to at about 9:16 a.m. clear me for takeoff, and I'm going to exactly replicate. I'm going to ask for right pattern.
Are you going to bounce 3 times?
Probably so. Probably so. But anyway, that's 5 years from now. But anyway, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
What were we talking
Taking
about?
the active.
Oh, taking
the runway.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. And I'm not being a smartass by saying that. When someone says I'm taking runway 16 or they'll say taking the active, which again,
You can say
there is no
line
active.
up and wait.
Yeah, I don't know.
Departing 16. How about that?
I don't know if you're taking off or if you're lining up and waiting. I don't know. And so,
What about position and hold?
Oh, that's old school.
That's a decade ago.
Yeah.
Easy.
So yeah, don't say taking the runway again.
It's little things, but
it's little things.
It cleans it up.
But it is a mentality. It is a mentality of being right. Here's a philosophical question for you. If something is not right, is it wrong? Just think about that. If I say 5 + 5 is 12, is it right? No. Is it wrong? Yes. Okay, if something at the store costs $99.95 and we say it's $100, is it right? No, but is it wrong? I would say no, no, Um, so, but if we can try to strive for 100% compliance and 100% right, because you're going to fall short. You are.
There's no
Um,
perfect flight. There's
right.
no perfect check ride. But
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, try. You're gonna play how you practice.
Yeah.
So hold yourself accountable
Right.
and try to use the big one. As simple as it sounds, it's standard phraseology.
Standard phraseology. So let's come in for a landing on our scenario that I gave you. So now here you are. You're over the Andes Mountains somewhere in South America. There is treacherous terrain down there.
Those go up to 25,000 feet.
Yeah, it's the middle of the night. Your body is saying, hey man, I need sleep. It's 2 in the morning. You don't want to be awake. You've had 16 cups of coffee. You've peed 12 times. You're speaking to a controller again whose native language is Portuguese. He has a command of the English language, the aviation phraseology. He speaks with a very thick accent, and you have just had a rapid decompression, and you've got to get down. Do you want to be using standard phraseology, or do you want to be just making stuff up?
Absolutely making stuff up. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We are a total fly-by-night operation
Yeah.
here at United Airlines.
Yeah.
No, it's standard phraseology. The first words out of my mouth or my first officer's mouth would be Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not even declaring an emergency. It's Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. That is an emergency. And then the other one is pan, 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 which I don't think anybody knows
No.
at the flight school world. It's Mayday, Mayday in the flight school world is declaring an emergency.
Right. Right.
The proper phraseology is Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. That is an emergency.
Yes, yes. And even at United, we have had a little bit of shift in one phrase that we used to use. We used to use the slang, roll the trucks.
For the reject takeoff.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we have a rejected takeoff. Maybe we've got smoke coming from our tires. We don't really know if there's a fire yet, but we want the fire trucks out there. And so we used to say, roll the trucks. Of course, everybody knows what you mean, roll the trucks. Well, the problem is in China, in Africa,
In Brazil.
maybe they don't know what roll the trucks means.
The
So-
facetious thing going around the training center for a while. And I can't confirm it happened, but I want to say it became this paramount, this prime example of do not use slang.
Right.
And apparently there was a rejected takeoff in Brazil, either Sao Paulo or Rio, and the pilot said, roll the trucks. And I can't confirm it, obviously I wasn't there, but the United operations truck came barreling down the road. So here comes a Toyota Hilux, like, Captain, what do you need? And he's like, I want the trucks. Like, where's the fire trucks? Well, why didn't you say,
Yeah.
crash, fire, rescue? Why didn't you say emergency equipment?
Yeah.
They didn't do it. So that came full circle back to the training center, and there's been this major push
Yeah.
into ICAO standard phraseology. I know for a fact, do you do South America at all?
Yeah.
I used to do it. I did it for 3 years, almost exclusively. It was very convenient for the kids. It
Yeah.
was a 4-day, but it was a 2-day. It was awesome. I digress, but pushback verbiage.
Yeah.
So when we call the tugs and the rampers to push us off the gate, it needs to be exact phraseology.
Right.
And so as an FO, I used to do the walkarounds because captains, you don't do the walkarounds. I was like, no. I don't do them anymore. Only when it's nice weather. But there is printed our pushback phraseology, our pushback instructions. There's 2 sheets of paper. They are printed and taped into the tug.
Yeah.
That tug driver is expecting the captain to say, A, he responds with B.
Right.
Captain says C, he responds with D.
Right.
It is so when you start having these conversations with guys in South America and girls, they're lost. They know 15, 20 words of English.
Yeah.
Probably more. I'm being facetious. But you go into these conversations and their response is Royer,
Right.
meaning I don't know what the hell you just said
Yeah.
because it's not printed on my sheet of paper.
Yeah. I just did my check ride about 4 days ago, and we did a rejected takeoff, and the first officer said, "Roll the trucks." And so that was a debrief item for us. You know, the instructor pointed out that we are to ask for crash, fire, and rescue rather than roll the trucks. So this, and again, that's something that we had to change for years, I would say.
We
roll
got
the
away
trucks.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not.
What creates the change?
Probably an accident.
Typically something bad,
Yeah.
right? So that something bad, an accident, an incident, that typically is the reason why things are refocused.
Right. And how often do we get pilot bulletins that you read the pilot bulletin, and basically the pilot bulletin is reaffirming an already a procedure that we already have in place? How often? All the time we get
it's
those.
in the book,
Yeah.
but people have,
Yeah.
I guess, strayed
Yeah.
from it. Pushback for we can close on that. So, you want to push, right? And you tell the tug driver to stand by push. Well, what did your tug driver hear? Did he hear stand by or did he hear push? He heard push,
Right.
and your parking brake is set.
Right.
That's bad,
Yeah.
right? So it's either stand by and be quiet,
Yeah.
or clear to push. It was they're making a very delineated difference between, like, never combine the two,
Right.
because it's not only a language thing. There's static on that radio. There's maybe they didn't hear the first word, but they heard the second word.
Right.
You never ever know.
Right.
So stick to standard stuff and it'll be fine.
So the whole standard phraseology, it is just a mentality. You know, stay within the box, stay within that standard. You know, don't vary, and you'll probably have a very successful career.
Well, let's check our little list. Did it. All right. Please repeat.
There we go.
That should be.
There we go.
Say again.
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Please repeat. It's say again, y'all.
Right. Right.
It's say again.
Another one I has crept into the vocabulary is altitudes. What, you know, I'll say, okay, what altitude did you plan on for our cross country? And they'll say 4 or 5. 4 or 5. 4, 5, 6.
4 or 5. 4 or
Yeah.
5. What is 4 or 5?
4 or 5. That sounds like a short person to me. Oh, 4,500. I had a young man, I think it was yesterday on a check ride. Oh man, he couldn't say 4,500. We had to go up really high to get above the clouds to do our maneuvers. I think we were up at 7,500, and he kept saying 7,500. And every time he'd say it, I'd say, "What?"
That's
yeah.
a great airplane,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
still.
Yeah, it is 757.
What else we got? All right. So funny part. So he's since retired. One examiner. I took a check ride with him years ago. He refused. He not refused. He changed his ways. He used to say full power, right? And due to static, accents, whatever it might be, he had one student or applicant pull the power. So he switched it to max power or increase power, just because it's a clearer direction.
Yeah.
Flaps in the Piper, 10, 25, 40.
Yes.
Or is it flaps 1, 2, 3?
Oh, you hear flaps 1, 2, 3.
We are not on an Airbus,
Right.
ladies and gentlemen. That's the only time you can say flaps 1, 2 full.
Yeah.
That's an Airbus thing. Say the degrees. Flaps
Yes,
10, flaps
yes.
20, 30, 40, 10, 25, 40. Do not say what notch. You know, you can say I'm okay with stages. Right. First stage, like going into a maneuver.
Yeah.
First stage, second stage.
Yeah.
Okay, there's full flaps at 45. you can say that, but flaps 1, 2, 3, nah, don't do that.
And another thing that occasionally you'll hear in a piper is the applicant will talk. They'll use the flap handle. They'll say flaps are up, meaning the handle is up, which means the flaps are down.
Correct.
Okay, so when we talk about flaps, we want to talk about the position of the flaps on the back of the wing. Flaps up in a piper, the handle is down. Flaps down, the handle is up. And that's a piper thing.
It's little things that I used to give this example. When you chair fly, I would go through every single maneuver. So I would stand in an office with a student, like, all right, tell me, and I would stand in front of the desk, like the other side of the room. Tell me exactly how you want to walk, how you want me to walk to the other side of the room. I go, okay, walk straight. So I just walk straight, and I would run into the desk.
Yeah.
And then they go, turn left. And so I would continue to walk straight, but I would just make left-hand circles.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point, I'm doing exactly what you're saying. So if you're CFIs, if you're teaching, this is the law of primacy.
Yeah.
If you teach with standard phraseology, with precision, that is going to translate into the students. That's going to translate into the applicants.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we want to see.
Yeah.
Sloppiness, I hate to say it, they're out there. That is evident very, very quickly.
I had an applicant one time on stall recovery. He kept using the phrase, milk the flaps. And I went, what? Milk the flaps?
We know what you mean. I get it.
Yeah.
But all that student was doing, all that applicant was doing was repeating what the instructor said.
He did.
Which goes back to what the instructors are saying.
And I will
teaching.
say this about the instructor, many props to him, because he actually called me for a debrief, and I brought that up, and he said, that is totally on me. He said, that is absolutely wrong. I will change that immediately, but that is just something that I came up with.
Yeah.
So, hey, we fixed it. And again, we understand what you mean. I mean, when I first heard it, I thought, what? And then it took me a while to process, and I went, okay.
And that's the takeaway.
Yeah.
Standard phraseology, it's a mindset.
Yes.
It shouldn't take any time to process.
Right.
Because if it's something you don't normally hear,
Right.
that time to process could prove detrimental.
Right. Right.
Right.
You know, I'm such a geek about this stuff that even at home, you know, with my family and in standard conversation, if I don't hear somebody, I find myself saying, say again, rather than what or huh.
There's this meme floating around, and it's like how to communicate with your pilot husband or spouse, and it's the same thing. You know, say again, unable. You know, will comply.
Right.
Just start speaking the language, and you'll probably get further. Right?
Right.
It was pretty good.
What time you want to go? 1400? 2 o'clock.
Yeah. So, well, one of my kids knows military time. Wife knows military. That's how we function. I will set military time in rental cars.
Oh, yeah.
Because I need to teach the world.
Yeah. Well, you know, and a lot of people are struggling with military time, and probably most of you have a digital watch where you can put your standard
Just
time
do both.
on. Just set your watch to military time, and in about a week,
I would say in
got it
less
figured
than
out.
2 weeks, you're good to go.
Yeah.
What else we got?
I think that's about it.
All right, cool. So standard phraseology. Get it, own it, love it. There you go.
All right. We'll see you next time.
See y'all.
Bye.